everyone, welcome back to Shall We Stamp, and today I am going to be showing you how to make a shadow box card. It's very easy. This is the front of the card, and then when you open it, and then there's your shadow box. I saw this design from Dawn Griffin, so it looks a little difficult, but once you get through it the first time, it really is easy to make, and it's going to be something that's really going to wow your customers. So with that said, let's get started. I will have the information as far as card sizes and all of that at the end of the video, so don't stress out about that. We're going to be working with the Balloon Adventure stamp set, and then also they have the balloon pop-up framelits, which has the balloons in all of these 8 different framelits. Now again, if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up! And their items, if you purchase these 2 as a bundle, then you do receive a 10% discount. And these are photopolymers, so they're see-through, which allows you to place them a lot easier. Okay, so let's get started. Today I am going to be working with Bermuda Bay cardstock. And this is cut at 5.5 by 10.5. Now I've scored it, and I'll fold these in just a moment. I've scored it at a 1/2 inch, 4 inch, 4.5, and an 8 inch. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder and crease my score lines. And some of the stuff I went ahead and have done a little bit in advance just to save some time. So again, you want to fold these using your bone folder to give it a good crease. And this is the part here that's going to be making the box itself. And we're going to use some tear and tape and liquid multi-purpose glue and some other items. Okay, so we have our 5.5 by 10.5 piece of cardstock. You're also going to cut another piece of your same color cardstock. In this case, I'm using Bermuda Bay. You're going to cut another piece at 4 by 5.5, and I'll explain to you what we're going to do with this. You're also going to cut 2 pieces of Whisper White or Very Vanilla. I'm using Very Vanilla. You're going to have one that's 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then the second one is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And this is going to be used on the inside of the card, and I'll show you about that. And this is going to be used on the front. And then we're using the cupcake birthday paper stack. And I've cut this designer paper at 3.5 by 5. Okay. We're going to use some glimmer paper. So I'm using the Gold Glimmer, and this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So it's 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4 in length. And then you're going to cut out 3 of the balloons from the framelits. And I cut out 2 of the gold circle balloons and then 1 with the lines. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is after you make your score lines, you've got your 1/2 inch on the right hand side. Now just to show you how this is going to work, once we put everything together, you're going to fold this and attach it. So this is what's going to make your pop-up card. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. All right, so our 3.5 inch, our 1/2 inch is in our right hand. So what we need to do in order to cut our framelits and to make sure our balloons are on the right, at the top of the inside of the card, you want to flip your card over the cardstock and have that 1/2 inch in your left hand. Okay, so this is our top of our. Okay, so we want to line up the balloon pop-up framelits in between the 1/2 inch score line, which is now going to be on your left side because you flip the card over, and between the 4 inch right there. Okay, so that's how we're going to have this. Now let me bring the Big Shot in, and we're going to run this through the Big Shot. So again, you want to lay it on your plate and just make sure you've got your balloons and everything on there. Put your plate on top to make your sandwich, and I'm going to run this through, and then I'm going to run it through once and then run it back the second time. Okay, and then you hear it crunching, which is okay. It just means it's doing its thing on cutting. All right, and I'm knocking everything off my desk. Let's move this out of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this, all the pieces out. So we want to go ahead, and you have to be careful because of the balloon, these little things here, these little strings. So I just pop out what I can with my fingers. And then the rest of it, you want to use your die brush. And what I do is put it in a stamp case, and I also keep a little... I got a pokey too. It's a, what is this thing called? Anyways, I don't know what that's called, but I keep it in there so I can poke out all the little pieces. So what you want to do is just run your brush over all of these pieces to make sure everything comes out. Because you want to be careful again with the balloon strings right here because you don't want those to break. So you just want to carefully pop this out, and then I I use my little pokey tool just to help me if I can't get them to release a little bit. So that kind of helps. If you see, you can just kind of poke it through. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to get a hole in it. But at least it loosens it to where you can go ahead and pull your card off. All right, so we want to pull this off. And just be, again, you want to be careful with those strings. So again, I'm going to push these little holes right here to help loosen that up. Okay, so we've removed the balloon pop-up framelits from the cardstock, and we've got all that taken care of. Let's go ahead and stamp. We're going to stamp our sentiment here and attach the balloons. The stamp that says, "Let's Celebrate," and we're going to stamp that right on the banner that has been impressed with your embossing folder. With your framelits, pardon me. And hopefully I can get this on here without getting my head in the way. All right, so we've got our "Let's Celebrate." Now we're going to attach our balloons, and there's two ways you can do this. I'm going to use liquid Tombow. You can also, I'm going to run it around the edges just a little bit. But you can also spread some of this on your craft sheet. If you don't have a craft mat, they're in the catalog. They're towards the back of the annual catalog. Well, if I can get this one to work, give me just a minute. So, or you can take a stamping sponge and you can put some of the ink on your craft mat, and with the sponge, put some adhesive on your sponge and just kind of dab it around. It makes it a little bit easier and quicker. All right, so I did 2 circles and 1 line. So I'm going to just go ahead and attach this on the cardstock where the balloons are, and just set it down and let it sit for a minute, because the Tombow allows you to move it, and then it takes just a minute to dry. So while it's doing that, then I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on this balloon. And just a tip in case you're not aware, whenever you cut the glimmer paper, a little thing that's a little bit easier is to put it with your paper, with the glitter side down on your Big Shot, and then cut it and run it through like twice. It just makes it a little bit easier for it to cut through. Okay, so that's just a tip for the day. Okay, so we now have our balloons attached with our Tombow, and again, the 1/2 inch side is on my left. So now we're going to flip it over, because now we're going to put our box and our card together. You want to make sure you're folded on the 4-inch score line. And the 1/2 inch, we're going to go ahead and put some tear and tape on here, and then we're going to make our box, and then we'll go ahead and do the top, and then we'll be all done. So let me go ahead and put this on here. Again, you want to make sure you've got it folded on the 4-inch score line. You've got your tear and tape right here, and all you want to do is fold this over and then just press. All right, so what that does, it's made your box. All right, it's not going to open up all the way, but there's our box. See? Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the other piece of 4 by 5.5, and we're going to cut a 2 3/8 inch circle scallop. Now I'm using a retired punch, but I'm sure you have the scallop circle punch in your stash, and you just want to punch it somewhere not real near the side, but kind of towards the center will be fine. And I'll show you what we're going to do. So we're going to punch that out, and we're going to use that for the base of our sentiment. So remember when we stamped this and we punched this out with a 2-inch circle punch. So now we're just going to attach that to our scallop. Let me move the card off to the side. So we're just going to attach that here. Okay, now this piece, you're going to say, what in the world are you doing? All right, so this piece we're going to take and attach it to make our front of the card. Okay, now we're going to hide this, so don't worry about that. So what you want to do now is you want to take and put adhesive on this side, because you don't want it on the other side, because it's going to attach to your balloons. All right, and then what I recommend, it's easier for me, I just line it up this way, so hopefully my head doesn't get in the way, and I want to butt it right up to the edge of the card, and then that's our front of our card. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attach our designer paper to the piece of Very Vanilla. Okay, and then we're going to attach our piece of gold glimmer paper. And that, you can place this anywhere you would like to place it. I'm just going to put it down towards the bottom a little bit. So now we're going to go ahead, and we've got our adhesive on here. So we're going to go ahead and attach our card with your adhesive. See how that's going to cover the hole that we punched out? And the reason I did that, just to save paper. That's all. It's just why, you can cut a couple of things out of it. You're going to cover it up anyway, so why not? So we're going to put our birthday sentiment. All right, now this piece of paper, this piece of cardstock here, we're going to, the 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, we're going to attach the inside left panel, That's going to cover up the hole there. And this is going to allow us to write our sentiment on this card. Shadowbox card. And there you go. It's happy birthday. Let's celebrate. Isn't that exciting? And again, let me pull the other one in that we made. And here's the other one I did using Sweet Sugar Plum with white Whisper White cardstock and then the Dazzling Diamonds glitter paper. So this is in Sweet Sugar Plum. This is Bermuda Bay with our gold glimmer paper. Isn't that fun? Okay, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed these cards. If you haven't gone to my website, go to shallwestamp.com and sign up for my newsletter. If you haven't gone to my Facebook page, please do so at Shall We Stamp. And like that for me as well. And if you have any questions or need anything, you can visit my website and order any of the products that I've used today at shallwestamp.com. To the right hand side is a shopping bag. Just click that and start your ordering. And if you need anything, please reach out to me by email at dawn@shallwestamp.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you the next time.